I was thinking, like, today is a day of transition. We've just had this very rich program and so much inspiration, and, these people taking care of us, cooking in the kitchen, and everything's just been quite wonderful. We've just, listened to teachings and discussed with each other and thought about the teachings and everything like that. And then the program ends, and then you're back to, we have to clean up. The stage is gone. It's disappeared. The tables are on another side. People are changing rooms. Everything's changing. And so on these kind of transition days, there's often a lot of emotion that happens that we're not aware of. Yeah, some of it may just be this feeling like there's so much work to do, and we've got to get it all done and put everything in order as soon as possible. And so we're rushing around and bossing people around and telling them what to do, and let's get it done. And so that goes on transition days. Then there's also this feeling for the people who are here after other people have left. There's a feeling of, oh, I'm left behind, because the teachers left, some of the participants have left. I'm just sitting here, with the vacuum cleaner. Yeah. And so there's this feeling of sadness, of loss, of, being left behind by the others who have left. They're on to bigger and better things. We're not realizing that they're sitting in the car, on the shuttle, or in the airport going, oh, where was I? I really missed that. Why can't all these people be here with me? Yeah. So we can't, we get just kind of stuck in our own experience. And so sometimes people are irritable, they're sad, they're bossy. Yeah, we don't know any bossy people, do we? And we're never bossy. And in our communities, we never, ever meet anybody that's bossy, do we? Yeah, and it's certainly not us. Yeah, not us. The cats are bossy, yes. They sit and whine. Yeah, it's noontime, so they're whining for their food, and they boss us around. Yeah, but so all this is actually very normal, and it's just what happens, and you get used to it when you've been around enough. And so when you encounter, some people get more irritable and more bossy than others, during the transition days. So it's important when you encounter them to realize that they're, whatever they say, whatever they do, it has nothing to do with you. Yeah, it's an indication of their own anxiety about the change and what's happening. And when we get anxious, we want to control situations, don't we? Yeah, I know nobody here gets anxious. You all know other people in your community who does. But this is what we do when we get anxious. We want to control. And so we do this, do that, quick. Don't do it like that, do it like this. Oh, you're not doing it right. Only I can do it the best way. Yeah? So we easily get into that. So it's really important when we're with somebody who's tight like that and anxious like that we just realize, oh, they're talking about themselves. There's, no matter what they say to you, what they do, they're actually saying, I feel vulnerable. Yeah, I feel anxious. I'm scared. I feel insecure right now. That's actually what they're saying. So it's very important, to look into people's heart and what is it they're really trying to say, even though their behavior may make it look like they're saying the exact opposite thing. Yeah. Another example of that is sometimes when we feel, when we really want to be connected with somebody and we don't feel connected, what do? We close the door and we go in our room and pout, which is the exact opposite of what we want, which is connection. Okay? So it's the same kind of thing here, that people often, they're feeling one thing, but the way they express what they're feeling is not with words. It's often by doing behavior that produces the opposite result of what they want. So it's our job as people training to be bodhisattvas to be able to look into people's minds and, when somebody's irritable, when they're angry, when they're bossy, just say, oh, this is what's going on with them. Yeah, that's happened to me. I know what that's like. What they're saying, what they're doing, it has nothing to do with me. Yeah, they're talking about themselves. And in that way, we listen to them with our hearts. And we don't take what they're doing personally. Yeah. Because if we take what they're doing personally, then we get upset and angry and irritable and anxious and fed up. And the whole thing just escalates. Yeah. So I think this is really the beauty of the bodhisattva practice and what we're being called to do when we live in community. Because if we really want to serve society and we want to benefit sentient beings, we have to get used to enduring their bad moods. Yeah? And when you think, like how we've sometimes acted, and maybe the people been on the receiving end have been bodhisattvas and what they've had to put up with when we act that way. Yeah. Then to think, okay, if I want to be a bodhisattva, I have to learn how to be gracious and forgiving, and most of all, not get stuck in my own self-centeredness. That is saying, why did they do that? They shouldn't do that. How are they talking to me? I don't feel safe. They should change. Someone should make this all different. Because that's just going into our own self-centeredness. Yeah. And supposedly we want to be bodhisattvas in training, don't we? So, when this kind of stuff happens, this is the opportunity for us to call forth our compassion. Yeah, and to call forth our calmness and our forgiveness. Yeah, so this is kind of transition days and what happens, and so it's a different kind of practice, but it can also be really beautiful if we can rise to the occasion and and be peaceful within our own hearts and look at what's in others' hearts instead of, just thinking about, how I feel and projecting all sorts of motivations and so on onto the other person. And so, okay.